Hello students, welcome back to Vidyalakshmi YouTube channel. I am T.R. Ganesh, here history teacher. Today we are going to discuss about history chapter 1, how, when and where. The topic is chapter 1, how, when and where. Learning objective. What are the learning objectives? Learning objective, simply what we want to say is nothing but the knowledge I am going to gain. As usual, number 1, introduction. Number 2, periodization of history. Number 3, sources of study, modern history. And the number 4th one is literary records. Again, it has some subdivisions. Number 1, official record. 2, indigenous literary sources. And finally, other sources. So, these are all the 4 major topics we are going to discuss in lesson number 1, how, when and where. Okay, first, before entering to the topic, first of all we want to know about what is history. What is history? Why we are studying about history? What is history? Very simple. History means study of the past. It is nothing but study of the past. Point number 1. Why we are studying this particular history? Sir, history means we need to remember lot of years, lot of leader name, where he born, how long he was ruled, like that so many things from the earlier classes we studied. Here we are going to discuss only number 1. It created some curiosity. There is always curiosity to learn ancestors, lived and survived. Example, when you are kid, not only you, including myself, why they are representing stories means they basically gain some knowledge like number 1, observation skill first they develop, and also number 1, observation skill, number 2, listening skill, and number 3, if they are raising some question, it will help us to contribute some answers. Example, which king I named, where he was born, what he did, like that some questions they can raise. So, grandparents help us to motivate to improve our listening skill, observation skill, and also presenting some valuable moral oriented answers. Okay, this is why they used to represent some moral stories. Number 2, this chapter gives the outline about what history is all about. This chapter gives the outline of what history is all about. So, introduction, topic number 1. There are 4 subdivisions I told. Number 1, introduction. In introduction, how to introduce ourselves? What is your name? If you are new to your class or new to a business cycle, business area, how to introduce your? My name is. I am coming from this area. My father name is. Like that, you are introducing yourself. Like that, this lesson, how you are introducing through the statement. It is like history is like a story. Because study of the past. History is like a story. It is like a story. We, all of us, experience through our grandparents during our bedtime, just before I introduce the thing. Number 2, history cannot be understood without the chronological sequence. Chronological means years. Chronological means years. It is in the form of sequence, order. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. It is in the form of an order. The world in olden days was a huge place. Millions of years ago, our earth was formed. This further we are going to study elaborately in 10th. Okay, how the earth was formed millions of years ago. There was a land mass called Pangaea, and it is surrounded by water body called Panthalassa. Like that we are going to introduce a topic. In geography we are going to study further. Here we are not getting started from the very early beginning. So, world in olden days there is no communication. People usually in our forefathers, early man, what they did? They used to convey their message through expressions, body language. Simply we can say body languages. When the form of writing was introduced, on that day only the history getting started. So history can be divided into two types, prehistory and modern history. Prehistory means no written record available. Whatever the written records is available, from there only history getting started. So it is arranged in the form of chronological. Chronological means year sequence. So that is why we feel some difficulties to understand. Very simple one. For example, how can I remember the year, sir? At what time, any time, if you are asking about your birthday, someone is asking you, means what you will tell, sure you will be presenting this day, this month, this year. Your close friend also can remember about your birthday, your parents also, your grandparents also. If someone new to your area, if you are asking, means they can't express you. So that is a difficulty here we are facing. So how we can remember, sir? Very simple. Make it as ABCD like that. If you are arranging it in a sequence form, this year this thing happened, this year this thing happened. If you are arranging, if you are making a recap, automatically the year will be remembered. Okay, next thing. The world in olden days was a huge place, and news and happenings got conveyed from one part of the globe to another take a long duration because lack of communication. At present we have the advanced communication technology. So in olden days they don't have such a facility. This is why it had taken a many number of years. Next, no fast means of communication. Reason was different languages, and there is no equipment to convey the message. At present we have lot of communication supporting devices. No fast means of communication. That is the reason the growth and development did not occur uniformly. It had taken a number of years. Simply hundreds of years or thousands of years. When was the Industrial Revolution started? Begins. Means 18th century. Now we are in the 21st century. Okay. So it had taken this particular, what we are enjoying today, for this technological support, it had taken nearly more than hundreds of years because of the growth and development. Next, it is important to understand. Sir, why, sir, already they are in a part of lack of technology, sir. I am enjoying, sir. Why I want to know, sir? So it providing you some holistic functions or precautionary functions. Suppose if we face any difficulties in future, how can we recover from the situation? That is why it is important to understand the realm of how, when and where. Now you clear? This is why we are studying the history. My grandfather was a very poor person, sir. Great-grandfather was a very poor person, sir. Next generation transfer. Now I am enjoying some lot of it only because of the growth and development. That is why we are studying the lesson. How, when and where. Okay, children? Next. History is an interesting subject. Sir, history is very boring, sir. Usually they used to tell one small joke. Example, one officer entered into a classroom and asked, which subject you like? As usual, students, they think, and one particular boy replied, sir, I like maths and social, sir. Okay, immediately, again he raised one more question. Why you like maths and social? Sir, maths sir will come and take means, it will take some little time to sleep, sir. Once if history started means, he'll started giving lot of guest lectures, sir. Automatically, immediately sleep will come, sir. That is why it is my interesting subject, sir. So this kind of comedy, unfortunately, I myself as a social teacher, I want to explain. So kindly leave it out, make it blank. Okay, let me enter into the topic now. So in between some clippings we are in need, because it is a theory oriented. So that we are some clippings we need. Next topic. History is an interesting subject. Just before that story, just before I explained, just you can make it as a one clipping, tag. You just add it. History is an very interesting subject. Like we always remember our birthday. When my first birthday, second birthday, third birthday, 20th birthday, 20th birthday, I am enjoying this much, I am enjoying with a lot of pleasure. Like that we used to remember because it is interesting. Like that the studying of subject is also very interesting. Okay, like our memorying our birthday. We don't want to memory. We are not going to write any essay. Simply, what is your birthday means immediately in a random flow we can express it. Next, to understand the aspect. Aspect means appearance. To understand the aspect, appearance. Better ask your parents. The date first I spoke. When I spoke my first word. When I stand or when I put my first step without any support. Spoke, walk without your support. Okay, next, all are important, but these are the events. All of them are not even important. For our parents it is important, for others it is not important. So these are all the events in our life. Okay, all are important, but events are very important. Among this, which is event here? My first word I spoke and walk without support. Next, dates do matter. The dates do matter. As a history student, we want to know about the First World War, Second World War. The date, when it was started. So dates do matter for major events and shape the society and nation. From the loss only we are gaining something and shape the society and nation. I told you before, my great grandfather was a very poor person, sir, but we are enjoying with the luxurious moments, sir. The society getting transformed. The same way, if the society change means it will be the reflection of a state. If the state getting change means it is a reflection of nation. Okay, like this, the countries will be developed. Then only we can label it as a developing country, developed country. Okay, status. It is nothing but status. Next, it is important. Human life evolved to help us. Human life evolved to help us. Example from the early man. Realize how precious, how valuable it is to preserve our what we did as kids. I told you before, a lot of mischievous activities we did. Not only use all the people when they are the age only. Age is a number simply. Age is simply a number. It is important. Human life evolved to help us realize how precious. Precious means how valuable. It is to preserve our what we did as kids, played, friends, and what we saw. Okay, how precious it is. When you are childhood, there will be no sorrow, no worry. Timely, we'll get the food. We are enjoying with friends, some playing games, and also a lot of friends, and also the sceneries during the time of vacation or any family tour. Like that, we are enjoying a lot of things. Then the next topic is about periodization of history. Periods mean duration. Periodization. Number 1. History can be written. History can be written for thousands and thousands of years. I told you before, prehistory, no written records available. So history, what we have, the source what we have, everything we are, someone compiled, someone written. That is the thing we are using at present. It is therefore divided because it is a lengthy format. Thousands of millions of years ago our earth was formed. But the history is available nearly thousands of years. Length of the historic periods. Next. Different countries have chosen their own time. Okay, for the development. I told you before, my great grandfather who lived in a poor condition. Next generation, they have taken some minimum years to recover from the poverty. Like that, the world countries also applied their techniques in different years. For example, Europe, the modern period starts in 15th century. But in case of India, here the modern century begins between the 18th and 19th century. 15th century with the decline of Mughal. When the British entered, it made a decline to Mughal rule. Next. Historians divide the period into 3 stages. It is one of the important question, book back question. Easily as a GK question also we can remember. Namely, ancient, medieval and modern. Early time, medieval time and the modern time, that is present time. These periods do not start or end with cut-off days. There is no exact date where it starts, exact date where it ends. So it will be a periodical change, a gradual growth. Each period has distinct technological growth, culture, religion, society and politics. Each period has distinct technological growth. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, he doesn't have cell phone, but I am using the touch phone. So this is a technological growth. And also culture. For him, he wore only dhoti, sir, but I am wearing jeans pants, sir. Next, religion. And also society. There they lived in a very poor condition, sir, but now I am enjoying with the luxurious moments, sir. Next, and also the politics, different atmosphere. We are living in a, growing in a different atmosphere. Next, there are some historians. Sure, there are some people, you know, those people, they subdivided the early modern history of India as a colonial period because we were under the British rule. So it was termed as colonial period. They used some techniques to occupy India so that it is named as a colonial period. It is based on subjugated means conquer. They applied some technique. They used some measures. Conquer affects, it greatly affects our social, cultural, economic and political life in India. How the society was transformed. There was a starvation death was happening in India. Starvation death means no food for the people. The government can't feed the people with the proper food. So it created huge death in India. So at present we are experiencing about the corona, a disease is disturbing a lot. Like that in olden days, a lot of things were happened. It because of many climatic conditions. We can present it as many climatic conditions. Example, crops failure, monsoon failure, soil loss, fertility, like that, so many reasons. It reacted starvation death in India. All those things were happened. It made the society getting changed. Social, cultural, economic and political life in India. Next point. In this chapter, we shall concentrate on modern history of India. We are not going to touch what was happening in the long ago, so long ago. What is happening in India between the 100th century, when the British rule in India, what we are enjoying today. These are all the things only we are going to discuss in this chapter. Sources of, I told you, for that what is the source I have? How can I read? For that I need some proof. Okay, that proof is nothing but source. Sources of studying the modern history. What are the source? How I obtain? How can I get what is the collection I received? What is the reference I have taken? These are the sources. Large amount of source material is available. Large amount of source material is available. The source material is nothing but, when the beginning of the slideshow, are able to observe some pictures, newspaper, the early man stage to the modern buildings. So these are the sources. Plenty of information available on the political, socio-economic and cultural development in the country. Plenty of information available on the political, socio-economic and cultural development in the country.